Do you ever feel like a bundle of nerves, stressed out, or just plain fearful at times? It's an all too common sensation in our fast-paced modern world. We live in an era of instant communication, unending notifications, and a constant barrage of information. This relentless pace often leaves us feeling overwhelmed and anxious. Anxiety has a profound impact on our lives. It's not just about feeling jittery or nervous. It can affect everything from our physical health to our mental well-being. It can strain relationships, hinder productivity, and rob us of the joy of living. It's like a shadow that follows us around, casting a dark veil over our daily experiences. Anxiety has become a widespread issue, almost like a silent epidemic. It's an invisible chain that holds us back, preventing us from reaching our full potential. But the good news is, we're all in this together. If you've ever wondered whether there's a solution to this anxiety, you're not alone. What if I told you the Bible offers practical advice to cope with anxiety? Now that might seem surprising, a book written thousands of years ago addressing a modern-day problem. But the truth is, anxiety isn't a new phenomenon. It's been a part of the human experience since the beginning. The Bible, as ancient as it may be, is a treasure trove of wisdom, comfort, and guidance. It's a tapestry of human emotions, struggles, triumphs, and failures. It's a collection of stories that tell us we're not alone in our battles, including the battle against anxiety. Now you might be wondering, how does the Bible speak to our anxieties? The answer lies in its verses. Throughout its pages, the Bible offers words of encouragement, hope, and reassurance. It addresses our fears head-on, reminding us that we're not alone, that we're loved, and that we have the power to overcome our anxieties. Let's consider the book of Psalms, for instance. It's a book filled with raw emotions, prayers, and songs. It doesn't shy away from expressing fears and anxieties, but it also doesn't stop there. It provides comfort. It offers hope. It reminds us that even in the midst of our greatest fears, there's a divine presence that loves us, guides us, and gives us strength. And it's not just the book of Psalms. From Genesis to Revelation, the Bible is filled with verses that speak directly to our fears and anxieties. These verses offer wisdom and guidance. They remind us to cast our anxieties and trust in a higher power. So no, the concept of using biblical teachings to cope with anxiety isn't as far-fetched as it might initially seem. The Bible, in its timeless wisdom, speaks directly to our human experience. It acknowledges our fears, it validates our anxieties, but it also provides a way out. Ready to explore these verses? They might be the lifeline you need. Consider Philippians 4, 6, 7. Where it says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." This verse, written by the Apostle Paul during his imprisonment, is a powerful reminder of the role of prayer and gratitude in managing anxiety. Paul encourages us not to be anxious, but instead, in every situation, to communicate with God through prayer and petition. What's more, Paul adds an important element to this communication: thanksgiving. He suggests that our prayers and petitions ought to be wrapped in gratitude. This isn't just about asking God for help, but also acknowledging and appreciating the goodness that is already present in our lives. This approach has a profound impact on our perspective, shifting our focus from what's causing anxiety to what brings joy and peace. Now let's delve into another biblical verse that speaks about anxiety. In Matthew 6:34, Jesus says, "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Jesus is urging us to live in the present and not to be consumed by the worries of tomorrow. In this fast-paced world, our minds often race ahead, fretting about future uncertainties. But Jesus reminds us of the importance of focusing on the present. There's wisdom in addressing today's troubles today and leaving tomorrow's worries for tomorrow. This teaching encourages us to break down our anxieties into manageable portions and not to let the future rob the peace of the present. And then there's Psalm 55:22, "Cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken." This psalm, written by King David during a time of great distress, encourages us to surrender our worries to God. David's faith in God's ability to sustain him in times of trouble is a testament to the relief and peace we can experience when we cast our cares upon God. In the face of anxiety, these verses remind us of the power of faith, prayer, and surrender. They encourage us to rely on a higher power, to express gratitude, to live in the present, and to surrender our worries. They provide comfort and guidance in navigating the turbulent waters of anxiety. These verses call us to trust, to pray, and to surrender our worries. Sounds simple, right? But it requires practice. So, how do you put these verses into practice? Let's explore some practical ways to reduce anxiety according to the Bible. First off, start your day with prayer. The Bible teaches us in Psalm 5 verse 3, "In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning I lay my requests before you and wait expectantly." By starting your day with prayer, you are setting the tone for your day, acknowledging your dependence on God, and opening yourself up to His guidance. Next, turn your worries into prayers. The Apostle Paul advises in Philippians 4 verse 6, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." Whenever you feel anxious, instead of letting the worry consume you, turn it into a prayer. This practice can help shift your focus from the problem to the problem solver. Practicing gratitude is another powerful way to combat anxiety. In 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 18 we're told, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." Gratitude helps us to focus on the positive aspects of our lives and to recognize God's hand in every situation, which in turn helps to reduce anxiety. Lastly, focus on one day at a time. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus says in Matthew 6 verse 34, "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." By focusing on the present moment, we can avoid the anxiety that often comes from worrying about the future. Remember, these steps are not quick fixes, but habits to cultivate over time. The Bible is full of wisdom and guidance, but it requires consistent application and practice. It's about training your mind to rely on God and His promises, rather than focusing on the problems and worries of this world. Remember, it's a journey, not a sprint. We've covered a lot today, from understanding the reality of anxiety to practical biblical ways to cope with it. We've unveiled that anxiety, while often considered a modern issue, has been around for centuries, even during biblical times. We've explored how the Bible acknowledges this human emotion, providing wisdom and guidance to navigate through it. We delved into various biblical verses that offer comfort in times of anxiety. Verses like Philippians 4, verse 6, which encourages us not to be anxious about anything but through prayer and thanksgiving, present our requests to God. We also discussed practical ways the Bible suggests to reduce anxiety through prayer, meditation, and faith. Remember, embracing these teachings can lead to profound changes in how we handle anxiety. This doesn't mean that the journey will be easy, but it does mean that it's possible. Anxiety might be a part of your life, but it doesn't have to control it. With these biblical teachings, you have the power to find peace.